All right, we are live. I've got the beautiful Kacie Corbell here. Super excited to have you on here, Kacie. Welcome.
I
And
am.
for those who are joining us and watching, we're going to be talking with Kacie. We do these fairly often to talk with some of our clients and some of the people that have seen awesome results in their life about changing their health, going through our metabolism reboot program. I'm going to spill the beans. Kacie's lost over 100 pounds. She did it in 9 months, but it's now been over a year since that she lost it and finished the program. So we're going to kind of talk to her, about her journey since then. So I'm excited about that. But if you're watching, you're joining us, feel free to let us know that you're here. Like, share, comment. Please feed the algorithm so more people will see this. And let us know where you're coming from as well. And if you have any questions throughout this process, go ahead and post them below, and we can hopefully get to those questions maybe in
Become our most beautiful selves. And my health journey definitely sparked this new venture. So, yeah, I am just loving life and this whole new identity that I have taken on since starting the Metabolism Reboot program.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Well, from what I hear, everybody, just so you know, Casey's kind of a big deal in her field, in her realm. And I know this because Casey's actually referred quite a few people to our program, and they all speak very highly of you, Kacie. So that's what I hear. So anyway, we're super excited for your new venture as well. Like I love seeing that. For anybody watching, you can follow her on her Instagram or TikToks and all those places, and see a lot of her beauty hacks and changing your beauty through your health and your health through your beauty and all the things. So super
All
cool.
the things. It
I
all
did not
goes.
speak. I did not speak it as clearly as Casey did. So anyway, all right.
You
Well,
did a
we're
good
we're gonna
job.
thanks. We're gonna dive in now. So Kacie, what let's start with is let's go back a year and 9 months ago, or however long it was before you started the program.
Yeah.
Tell everybody a little bit about your journey, kind of leading up to the program, where you were at. I mean, 100 pounds is a lot of weight. So tell us a little bit about the years leading up, the months leading up to that, leading to the program.
Yeah. So, for as long as I can remember, I have been overweight, like 80 to 100 pounds in my adult life. And I always considered myself like a generally healthy person. Like, I never felt like I ate more than anyone else. Like, I'd be out to dinner, like with models, and they'd eat more than me. And I was always active, like, I was always on my feet, always going, going, going. And now looking back, I'm realizing why that was a problem. I realized that my lifestyle was just not conducive to losing weight. Essentially, I was
Mhm.
working like 7 days a week. I was not prioritizing my sleep. I was basically like running on adrenaline and cortisol, which we know is when it's the body is like, this is dangerous. We're in fight or
Right.
flight. We need to hold on to everything we can because this person is not going to survive. And I'm realizing now that I put myself through that. And any type of diet attempt that I had made just made that worse. Like, I just remember one time I was into CrossFit, right? I was like, oh, I got to do CrossFit. I did CrossFit photo shoots, and I was like, this is so inspiring. Like, this is gonna work, right? So I signed up to this CrossFit gym. They were starting like a 6 week challenge, and I was like, let's do it. My sister and I signed up. We went to like Marshalls and like bought sneakers and t-shirts and leggings and just came back, and we started that day. We were so motivated. And now realizing when you put yourself through those type of workouts that increase your cortisol, that just beat you up, and then you're restricting your calories, which signal to the body we are in danger, how that is not sustainable at all, and
Right.
how your willpower is going to run out and you're going to go exactly back to where you were because you are not communicating safety to the body. And that is where your program, Jared, is so different, because it is communicating. It's the ultimate like beauty hack, dude. It's like we are just like hacking, understanding the physiology of the human body, and hacking it in a way to make it safe to the body to release this amount of weight in a safe way in a short amount of time. So you've really cracked the code, man. Just saying.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, and I think you're speaking to a lot of people who have tried, whether it's CrossFit, working out, personal trainers, along with a caloric deficit, counting calories, shake programs, whatever it is that people do. And people don't realize that they're literally like, we can cognitively say, oh, I'm doing something good,
Yeah.
but actually what's happening physiologically is that your body's stressed out. And if your body's stressed, it stores fat, cortisol, insulin, blood sugars, inflammation, the list goes on and on and on. And so that's why it's so hard to lose weight. I mean, sure, you might see an initial result, you might
Mhm.
feel a little better, but like that long-term sustainability of it is not going to be there. And then you, like you said, your body's in starvation mode. So it's like, give me all the calories. So you're right back to like your, it's chocolate sundaes and pizza again. And you're just like, I have no willpower. And it's like, no, you're battling biology and you're going to lose. So I think that's super, super common, right?
Yeah, Mother Nature is very intelligent.
Yeah.
But something else like that happened during that, this was like one of my like more recent attempts before the reboot, is like your program focuses on detoxing too, because that's a huge deal when you're releasing fat, toxins, environmental toxins. And I don't have to tell you this, Jared, but to everyone listening, they're stored in your fat. So when you release them, when you're releasing all this fat, it gets released into your bloodstream. And if you are not taking it out of your body in some way, you will become toxic. And when I did this CrossFit and keto combo, I broke out in a rash for a solid freaking month, dude. It was like,
Yeah.
and that's how I discovered liver cleansing, which like I'm like, my liver is on overdrive. It's like it's
Yeah.
dietary fat. It's fat I'm processing from losing weight so like quickly. And I had no soluble fiber at all. So it was
Yeah.
just recycling in my body. And I had this rash. It was like it was a dark time. It was a dark
Yeah.
time. So eventually I was like, screw this. Like
Hmm.
I can't feel itchy every day
Right.
for the rest of my life. So I just went, back to my old ways.
Yep.
And yeah.
And it goes away because your body's not detoxing anymore. You're like, oh well, it
Yeah.
was a problem. That thing wasn't working. It's like, no. It was we weren't supporting the body the right way, right? And that's also another reason why people gain the weight back is because the toxins don't leave the body. Where do they go back? They go back into the fat cells. So they have a hard time keeping the weight off. And people they just don't. Nobody ever talks about that, right? So it's definitely a big deal. So
Absolutely.
okay, so you were at that point you had tried a lot. Nothing really had worked. You're 100 pounds overweight, and so how'd you find about the program? You hear about some guy talking to women online, right? That's typically when people, oh, this is another guy selling women and dealing with weight loss. Like, how'd you hear about the program? Why'd you join?
Yeah. So I think a lot of people can relate to scrolling late night on TikTok. I'm just doom scrolling, right? I'm like depressed. I'm like, oh my God, I failed another freaking diet, dude. And like you came up and you were like, lose 20 to 45 pounds in 6 weeks. And I was like, well, this is bullshit.
Sure.
But I am intrigued. So I went on
Yeah.
I went on the website. And I know that you film these and you post these testimonials on your website, and they were literally hundreds, maybe even thousands, I don't even know, but everyone having these results. It was consistent across the board that people had lost at least, 20 pounds on this program. And I scheduled a call, and I remember I was like out with my friend, and I had just talked to you, and I was like, oh my God, like do you think this is real? I'm like, I don't even care. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try it. And what do you have to like? It's 6 weeks of your life. Like
Right.
that is goes by like literal blink of an eye. So I decided to invest in myself, and we started, what was it, like end of April, almost like May of
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
2020.
About this time almost.
Ooh, yeah, about this time. Oh my God. Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember where I was sitting. I was actually working outside that day. And I was sitting outside and I remember our conversation. You had a ton of questions. You were super smart, had done a ton of stuff. And yeah, so you joined the program, saw me on TikTok, which is actually super common. Like we get a lot of people online and stuff, but it seems crazy. You're like, what? This is weird. I don't know. And our claims are huge, obviously. And so then you joined the program and 6 weeks later you had lost, what was it?
I lost 45. I think it was 40 pounds in the 6 weeks and then like five more in the lock-in. Just kind of like it just couldn't,
Just kept coming.
just
Yeah.
kept
So
coming,
so
man.
basically in the first we and for people who are watching, we have different cycles that we go through because there's different things that need to happen for your body. So the first 6 weeks is where we release fat and really heal and detox. And then the next 6 weeks, we just kind of let the body stabilize and not really focus on weight loss, but even though some people still lose a little bit. So that's what Casey's referring to. She lost 5 pounds. So basically in the first 6 weeks, you lost 40 pounds. We stabilize and you dropped another 5 pounds. And people think that's kind of crazy, just to point this out, that you took a break from weight
Yeah.
loss. You didn't
Mhm.
actively try to lose weight for the 6 weeks after. And then you did it again. We cycle and you lost another, what was it, like 30 pounds or something that next one.
Yep.
And we kept doing that for 9 months. And every 6 weeks for 9 months, you're taking basically a 4 to 6 week break, not losing weight. And you still lost 106 pounds or something, 100 pounds in 9 months, right?
Yeah.
So crazy.
And there were a couple of times I took like an extra week in between phases. Like it could have, honestly, I'm
Yeah,
looking back at my like chart that went like pew, pew.
right.
Like I could have done it in 8 months, but
Probably could have done it faster, but
it-
hey, like you're busy. That's the other case. So tell us a little bit about that 9 months, because first of all, tell me, so you lost 100 pounds in 9 months. What other things did you notice happening benefit wise during that 9 months? And then I also want to hear about your schedule during that 9 months after you tell us a little bit more about the benefits that you saw. Kind of what did you experience as well during that 9 months? People were like, did you starve? Were you like losing your hair? Were you like looking all gaunt and haggard and mad and angry because you're so hungry all the time? Like, were you killing yourself in the gym? Like, what were you doing?
Obviously, like when you first start something like this, the first few days when you're like slaying that sugar demon and your body is still running off of carbs and sugar
Right.
primarily, you're not going to feel so great. But the supplementation protocol that you have really supports that. And a lot of people, so for everyone listening, this involves fasting for what is it, 18
Yeah,
hours a
16,
day,
18
which
hours.
16, 18 hours a day, which I had always done anyway. And so it was easy for me. I'm like, all right, I never really eat breakfast, so we'll just hop onto that. But I never felt hungry. And like, it makes sense because you're still being provided with all you need. Your body's just using your own stored fat for energy. Like, you have plenty of energy. And obviously, it goes through cycles as you're detoxing a little bit. And then, you cycle in and out. But like, the coaching really helps with that. And I'll be like, Jared, like, I feel like shit today. What do I do? And he's like, take some extra, electrolytes, or you like up the psyllium husk a little bit. And you guys really supported us through that. But all in all, I had a ton of energy. And like, I'm a busy person, but I kind of reprioritized my life where I didn't work myself into the ground because that's kind of what put me into this like cortisol storm. But the way that you guys approach it with lowering cortisol, with finding other ways to regulate your nervous system when you're not feeling so great, or you're feeling these emotional things come up, rather than turning to food, you teach us different ways to handle that. And we got to talk about identity shifting, because as you know how passionate I am
Yeah,
about that.
absolutely.
Like, it's
We're talking about
every
benefits. This is a huge benefit, right? When we shift our identity, so important.
yes, when we shift our identity. So I felt great. My skin, like, it never looked better. Like, the whites of my eyes were so white. Like, I just felt really good and I looked really good. And obviously, when you're seeing the scale move like a pound a day, dude, like, you are so confident. And we all know, like, that confidence comes from keeping promises to yourself.
Right.
And every morning when you weigh in and you see progress, and that's what's so motivating about this program too, is yeah, it's a huge commitment. It's only 6 weeks and you see the progress happen so fast. It's so motivating to keep going,
Right.
and you realize that you just become more and more confident every day because you keep these promises to yourself every single day. And yeah, I felt so great through the whole
Yeah.
process. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so many things that like come along with it, right? And you mentioned some physical things like better energy, better skin coming from a makeup artist, right? Which is really cool. And all the things, right? You have better energy, you feel better, but also the emotional side of it. Like, you're feeling in control, you're keeping the commitments you're making with yourself and those promises, right? Like, though, that I think breeds confidence and like internal like strength and empowerment. So such
Brilliant.
massive change, right? This starts to change, for those who heard us say identity shifting, it starts to change who you fundamentally are. And that's like our whole number one goal is change who you are. Don't just
Yeah.
go on a diet. Don't just lose weight. Let's become healthy people in the way we think, the way we live, what we believe, the way we talk to ourselves. And I think that's something that you've done a really fantastic job. I know you did some work out even outside of our program around shifting your identity, and to see, lifelong change, which is what we want. So,
Yeah.
so talk about that for a minute then, Kacie, as far as like, what were some of the things that you learned or shifts that you made, mindset things that you found through the process that now over a year, like later, as you finish the program, I guess it's been a year and a few months now, you finished the program. What's perpetuated you forward to continue to maintain the results? Because people are like, oh yeah, you lost 100 pounds in 9 months. You're just going to gain that back. And you're going on like almost a year and a half strong. And
Mm-hmm.
you're a very healthy person. In fact, you're changing your career to focus on health, right? Which is such a massive change. So what did you do to create that change?
Okay, so this is when we get to talk about identity shifting, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, well, physiologically, creating the set point in your program is why you're creating safety and you're never gonna snap back to your old weight because your body, you're communicating to your primal being that this is where I'm safe now. So
Mhm.
that's one reason, but you need to change who you are as a person. And we always heard this, right? Just like, it's a lifestyle. It's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. I'm like, that's fucking bullshit. Like, I'm like,
Right.
tell me what to eat and how much to exercise, and I'll see you later.
Right.
But when people ask me, they're like, what did you eat and what did you do? Did you exercise? I'm like, yeah, I'll tell you what I did, but it's so much more than that. It's like, I want to tell you about how I shifted who I fundamentally am as a person, right? Why identity shifting is so important is because it takes willpower out of the equation, right?
Bingo.
So basically, I formulated this whole persona, and I would encourage all of you to do the same thing. Like if you decide to join this program or just in your everyday life, this applies to career, like health, whatever kind of goals that you have, choose who you want to become. I took out a piece of paper. I gave her a name even. It's like alter ego effect, kind of the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Her name was Elle, and I was like, this is who she is. This is her manifesto. This is how she lives her life. These are her standards. This is who she surrounds herself with. This is how she dresses. This is how she looks. I wrote every single detail down. And then when you are faced with a decision, all you have to do is decide, like, am I going to be who I was, or am I going to be my future self? And it's literally the tiniest energetic shift in that moment. Like I remember like during the lock-in when we like add working out back in, like HIIT and stuff like that, I would wake up and be like, I don't want to work out. But then like, what would Elle do? She'd
Yeah.
Dude, she wouldn't, she just gets up and she works out because that's who she is. So you choose the future self. And it kind of takes the pressure off of like you
Right.
because you're just becoming that person. All you have to do is what she would do.
Yep.
And you guys introduced that to me. I took it and I ran with it in the biggest way. And I encouraged everyone else to do that. Um, and it makes so much sense. So like, and you use the example, this is where it really kind of hit home for me. Is so say you're a vegan. This is one of the examples you give. If I like dangle a piece of bacon in front of a vegan, they're not going to be like tempted to eat it because that's not who they fundamentally are as human beings. So the same applies with like any type of identity that you are creating. If you decide that you're not a drinker anymore, like, or you create certain parameters around drinking for yourself, where for me, I'm like, if it's going to enhance like a beautiful meal, or if I'm cheersing a person who is celebrating an accomplishment and you're enhancing relationships and connection to people, then yes, I'll have a couple of drinks. But am I going to sit and just like day drink at a brewery just to pass time? Probably not.
Right.
So you just develop these standards for yourself, and then it's easy to decide because you just decide who
Yep.
the future person is. And then
Yeah.
eventually, over time, you become that person because I am Elle now. Hi,
Yep.
everybody.
There you go. And the beauty is when you make that decision, you only have to theoretically make it once.
Yeah.
And then every time you're faced with that choice, like if you're gluten free, and you have to be gluten free, like you could be faced with bread a million times and you've already made the choice to be gluten free. You'll never have to make it again. You've already given that choice up to that identity, right? And I love that principle of I like to call it surrender, where you're surrendering your will, your choice now to your higher self that you want to become, right? And that's when you map that person out and you say, cool, like I personally want to eat this or don't want to work out or want to do whatever, but like Elle or whoever your alter ego is, your higher self, they wouldn't want me to, so I'm going to give them the choice. I'm going to surrender that choice and give it to them, right? And it's such a powerful concept that like if I surrendered my car and gave you the title, like I can't just take it. I can't just choose to drive it. It's yours. You get to decide if I drive it or not. And so it's the same idea with our choices and these identity behaviors, right? People just call them habits. I call them identity behaviors where they're fundamentally who you are and you behave in a way because of that. So such a powerful concept that you just exude now. Like you're literally like you're moving that direction in your whole life and have been, which is so cool to see that massive identity shift. So awesome. And for anybody listening, like you're like, this is woo-woo stuff. Like, aren't you guys going to talk about what you did? And like you said, Kacie, it's like, sure, we could, but like 90% of keeping the weight off is how you think. It's not knowing what to do. Just go on YouTube and like watch a bunch of videos. You'll know what to do. But
Yeah.
how to think is the key.
How to think is the
So
key. And your program is like the perfect kind of like recipe for success in that you're covering all the bases like physiologically, and then we're specifically through the 10-week cycles, and then you're supported with coaching. I personally like needed help with accountability. I'm like, someone's checking on me. I'm a little bit more motivated to do that.
yep.
And the group setting, you get to share your wins. I remember ringing the bell like for the first time when I
Mm-hmm.
lost pounds. I was like, holy shit. And this happened in like no time at all.
Yeah.
Um, and identity shifting and the mindset shift, and in its totality, this is the recipe for
Yeah.
making success and rapid results. So.
Yeah. It really is. And that's the thing I think is missing so much from other approaches. They'll focus on working out or getting your macros or a plan for exercise and fitness. And some people do the opposite where they're like, let's just focus on like, internal belief systems and childhood traumas or whatever. And I think they're all important. Like you kind of get to bring it all into one place where you have community, you've got one-on-one, you got accountability, you've got identity, you've got like just what to eat, like basic, like here's your list of foods, like here's
It's
how
your
much,
biohacks.
yeah, like you have the basic, you got supplements, like you have the whole thing. And when you get that down and you have the like what to do, and then you start seeing the actual results, it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun, right? When you're like, wow, like I can do this. And then you get to your goal and you're like, this is who I am. Like I am literally here. I've created who I want to be by just doing those small things every day. So yeah, super cool.
So cool.
So, okay. So, you've seen major change. Obviously you lost 100 pounds. You obviously like during that process, energy, skin, all the things, right? Improving. Anything that like, now that you're a year out or over actually, cause that's one of the big things that people say, or like will question me with, especially, and I'm sure they probably said the same thing to you. Like, well, yeah, you can always lose weight fast, but like, you'll just gain it all back. 100
Mhm.
pounds in 9 months, like you'll just gain it back. And
Mhm.
you're like, well, watch me. I'm not, right. I'm not, I'm like still living my life. And sure, there's ups and downs along the way, normal life fluctuations of our life and stress and weight and those types of things. But what are you doing now? Like how, like, what would you say to that person who's like, yeah, but like you lost 100 pounds, or anybody, even if you lost 25 pounds in 6 weeks, like you'll probably just gain it back. It's just water weight. It's just whatever. Like, what do you say to that kind of stuff?
Yeah, well, okay. And I know we just talked about identity shifting and like, this is who I am, right? Like, certain principles, like I love like doing some extended fast, some cool things you can play with, like once you've lost the weight. Like I paleo 80% of the time, like you teach, but I want to also tell the audience, like, I'm not perfect every day. Like you said, there are fluctuations, and I'm learning like cycle syncing is something I've really gotten into, just like syncing with your menstrual cycle and noticing like the natural fluctuations of your body as the month goes on. And it's not your fault, it's just hormones. And um yeah, like things like that. And just yeah, absolutely am not perfect. I go to dinner. I am a foodie at heart, and I always will be. Like, I think food is like one of the most, like, it's edible art, And like, even
Mhm.
when I cook for myself, I make sure it's pretty and it's delicious. And it doesn't mean that you have to be like restricted for the rest of your life. But something that you said to me, I remember there was a period of time where I was struggling a little bit as I was like just coming off the program. I'm like, because you feel like, you know, that old programming is still there, and you need to kind of like work every day to just move and continue to remain this person that you've created. And I called you and I was like, I don't know, I feel like I'm falling off and like I don't know, I'm scared. What if I gain my weight back, like and you said to me, Kacie, as long as you never stop trying. And I was like, I'm never going to stop like coming back to me essentially. And and because I've created this self-love, you know, I even if there are periods of self-abandonment, they are like so short now. Whereas before, if I felt as though I like fell off, it would be like a 6 months bender
Right.
essentially of self-abandonment and like that spiral of self-hate where you just kind of feed that with ice cream and pizza and like you just spiral down. But I like I said, I created these like parameters for myself and these standards for myself and this manifesto. And like, and if I eat food that is like quote unquote not healthy, it's not all the time. And it's not from a place of self-abandonment. It's from a place of nurturing and self-love and connection. Because
Mhm.
food does connect us, everyone. I'm not saying that you can never enjoy like a 12-course tasting menu again, like, because that's so fun.
Right.
You can live your life and as long as you don't self-abandon and you come back to you and come back to this identity that you've created, you're going to be just fine,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. It's so huge. Like you hit on so many things there that like I don't think we can unpack everything because there's so many factors that you talked about there. But I think the main one that you talked about is so key. And like you'll laugh because I'm gonna bring up the analogy of brushing your teeth again, because how many times do I say that throughout the program? But is the best example, or watering your plants is another one. Like you could get away with not brushing your teeth probably a couple of times a week even and never get a cavity. I've heard many dentists say that. Now most of us don't want to do that because we don't like the way our mouth feels and our breath stinks and whatever else.
Yeah.
But like let's say you didn't brush your teeth once out of the 14 times a week you brush your teeth. As long as you keep brushing them, no big deal. You don't water your lawn for a few days, it might turn a little yellow. You just water it again and it's generally going to be fine, right? And there's no difference in our health. And that's what I love is like the identity that if you're watching this, you're like, well, how do I do this? Like the identity that really I think needs to be developed for everybody is the identity that you never stop trying. Like that's who I am, is I'm never going to give up on my health because that's what I want. I want to be a healthy person, even if I'm not there yet. And some days I don't want to be there. Some days I kind of want to be a healthy person, but I don't actually want it. I just like, I'd rather eat like a candy bar, right? I'd rather eat like whatever, pizza. I'd rather go out for whatever. And it's one of those things where as long as you just keep trying, just never give up on that like identity that you are a healthy person, you're wanting to be a healthy person, and then let that follow through with your behaviors, right? Surrender, as we've talked about. And then you look back over 10 years, like my health journey was almost, well, actually 11 and a half, 11, almost 12 years ago, 11 years ago, that like I lost 50 pounds and I've kept it off, and I'm a food addict and I still struggle, and I'm a total foodie like you. And I love food. And I think that we should celebrate with food. I think we should connect with food, but like also like food needs to nourish us and we need to be able to like enjoy both things. And we just have to be have that consistency of never giving up. I think that's such a powerful concept. So I think that's huge. I think that's huge for sure. And for those who are in the program, like take some wisdom here from Kacie, because she's done a tremendous job on this. And not just treating it like a diet and not just treating it like another program or something that you're on or you're off, right? And even when you get off now, whatever you call off, right? For
Yeah,
you, like you just keep going, right?
just keep
And
going.
and you travel a ton, I know, like for fun and for work, you eat out, like all these things. And you're still doing it because that's who you are, which is such a great example for all of us. So kudos to you. Congratulations to you on that. So awesome. So, okay. Any other thoughts on any of that, concepts,
I
things you've
have
learned?
I have one more thought on that,
Yeah.
and something that really changed, and something I want to point out to people, like if you are starting this journey, something that was different this time is I decided I'm doing this because I love myself and not because I'm punishing
Mm,
myself for getting fat. This
yes.
is the most important thing, guys, because, and I remember looking in the mirror, and in the beginning, I would be like naked in the mirror, which I would never do because I would be like disgusted. And I would say all these negative things to myself. And instead of doing that, even though I would think the negative things to begin with in the beginning, I would try to replace those negative thoughts with something positive. Like even if I'm like, I love your legs because they're so strong.
Mhm.
Even though like my stomach and like other parts of my body, I couldn't send love to them quite yet. Or I would say the loving things and not feel it. And then the next
Right.
time, maybe I'm like, oh, okay, I am starting to crack that open to learning to love myself, which, that's a lifelong journey too, as someone who has always been so self-critical and such a perfectionist, recovering perfectionist. Like learning to do it from a place of self-love is why you won't go back, because you love yourself now. Like someone who loves themselves isn't going to poison themselves every single day with shit food,
Right.
and because you're not going to feel good, and you're going to be like, oh no, I want to treat you nice because I love you.
Yeah.
As everyone should. So
Right. And it's so amazing. That concept is so big to where like if you can truly learn to love yourself and see yourself for who you could become even, right?
mhm.
And for what you already are, like, I like you could jokingly do this with vegetables too if you don't like them. Like I love broccoli because of what? Why do you love broccoli? It's good for me. I love my legs because they carry me. They allow me to do my job. They allow me. I love my face because it allows me to talk and see and smell. And even though you don't, maybe in the beginning we don't like the roundness, or maybe we have like neck fat that we don't like, or maybe whatever. It's like cool. I love my arms because I can pick things up. And so you start to see the reality of the greatness of our bodies and the beauty of our bodies, and then it starts to become part of us, right? Which then you start to crack that, like you said, which I love. And it's like you said, like if you truly love yourself, it's kind of like, I'll use the analogy of a plant again, or brushing your teeth. Like if what we do in the weight loss world, where we like, we get off track, so therefore we just throw in the towel and say, well, I'm just going to go do whatever I want now and eat whatever I want. That's basically the equivalent of like saying, well, I didn't brush my teeth today, so I'm just going to pour sugar on it and chew some tinfoil and then go to bed. Like that sounds crazy, but that's the equivalent of saying, well, I'm not on my program now, so I might as well just drink a bunch of alcohol and eat a bunch of crap, and I'll just start up tomorrow again. Or it's like saying I'm gonna pour gasoline on my lawn when you
Yeah.
didn't water. It's like that's absurd. It's ludicrous. You'd never do that anywhere else in your life. If I'm mad at my spouse, I'm just gonna go cheat on them. That'd be crazy. If my kids are driving me crazy, I'm gonna like beat them. That's crazy. You don't want to do those things if you want healthy, good children or relationships or teeth or yards or whatever. But yet we
Yeah.
do it for health, because we're not coming from what you said, a place of self love. We're coming from like, I'm beating myself up because I'm whatever, or just this like really unhealthy mindset and relationship we've developed with our bodies and food and the diet culture and all the things that we just destroy ourselves and our mindset and our bodies, but we don't do that anywhere else, right? Super weird.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And it's crazy how, growing up in the 90s, and even like my group of friends, how we used to talk shit about ourselves. Like we used to just pick ourselves apart. And like, so that neural pathway of self-criticism was a deep, 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 deep
Yeah.
one. And I'm still working on it. I mean, a year and a half later, like I'm still faced with looking and being critical at times. But then, like I said, the difference is, okay, stop and say what you're grateful for. Stop and
Yeah.
say something you love about yourself. And over time, it becomes easier and easier and easier, especially when you are liking what you look back at in the mirror.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good.
Yep, totally, totally. And that's a powerful process for people. And that like we are as we go through our process through our program, like you're learning what to eat and how to fuel your body and drink and supplements and all the things, right? Learn about exercise. So you're learning like what to do. And by the same time, you're learning how to think and change the way you believe and those types of things, but you're also seeing it happen. And when you see it happen in your body, while you're also learning this, we change for two reasons as humans. One is we gain new knowledge over time. So that's what we hope to provide, is you're gaining knowledge as you go through our process. But then we also change through events. We change by something happening to us, right? You get in a car accident and you'll never not wear your seatbelt again, right? Or you have a kid and it's all of a sudden you're like, your life is totally different, or your grandpa has a heart attack or something, right? And you're going to change the way you live because of an event. Well, we hope this process can be an event as well as new knowledge. And so when you see that change, you're like, I was freaking 100 pounds in 9 months. And then you gain all this knowledge and all the things. Like it becomes who you are in a much easier way, rather than just like losing 20 pounds, but you want to lose 15. You're weird, this weird limbo land, and you're still not where you want to be. And anyway, it's a fun, cool process because it's slow and steady never wins the race because of that reason right there. You never reach your goals. You never have that event happen, but fast and permanent can be sustainable because you learn how to actually like the knowledge to keep it off, but you also had the like event happen quickly. So you're like, wow,
Yeah.
I like the way I look. I like the way I feel. I like all the things. And so I want to stay this way. I'm going to fight to stay this way rather than try to achieve something that I don't have yet. Right. So
Yeah.
very
Speed
different.
is, everyone's like, oh, that's so fast. Is that healthy? I'm like, well, yeah, you're biohacking it in a way that it is absolutely healthy
Right.
and safe and all those good things. And it's so freaking motivating. And it's like, I lost weight faster than people who like take Ozempic, dude. Like it's, and you don't have any of the bad
Or,
side effects. So,
or do surgery even.
or do gastric bypass. And
Yeah.
oh my God, and then are teaching identity shifting. So hello. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing. And I'm so
Yeah.
grateful to you for that, putting that TikTok out, man.
Well,
12:30 nights.
good. That's good motivation. I've slacked on my TikTok videos lately, so
Get
I
out
need to
there.
re-up. But well, good. Well, I know you've referred a lot of people to our program. Some of you watching this are probably in our program because of Kacie. So thank you for that. If someone's
Sure.
looking at this and watching this, saying, "Cool, Kacie, like worked for you," like like you're probably some spokesperson for Jared. You're probably like whatever. Like is this really going to work for me? Right. So what do you say to that person?
Well, I say that if you do this program, if you go all in and use these resources that are provided to you, the plan, which will biohack that fat right off your body in 6 weeks. I'm like, summer's in like 6 weeks. So perfect timing if anyone
Yep.
wants
Perfect
to get
timing.
on board. Um, Participate in the group, use your one-to-one coaching, shift your identity. There is no possible way that this won't work for you. And for me, it was like, yes, this is an investment. And for me, I'm like, some people like to buy like Gucci bags. And I'm like, no, I'm going to invest in myself instead because I'm actually worth it. Holy, like what a realization there. Like I am worthy of investing in
Right.
myself. Time, money, energy, like all of it. And so it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Awesome. I love it. And our program is cheaper than some Gucci bags. So there you go.
Yeah.
Like that's the nice thing is there's
That's
probably some that are maybe not as cheap, but yeah, you're so right. Like it is an investment and it's worth it though. Like you look back and you go, this is the last thing I'm ever gonna have to do to
I
lose weight or whatever.
I just keep thinking, I think sometimes I'm like, what if I never saw your TikTok? I know it was fate. I believe in divine timing. I believe that, hey, I was supposed to be overweight for 15 years of my life so I can share my story and help other people. Like, and now is the time. I believe in all that. But I often think, I'm like, what if I was still that person? Like I'm thinking about delaying my life in so many ways for so long because I thought it was the weight holding me back. And in a lot of ways it was. And, through identity shifting, I'm realizing, oh, like that was like a narrative that I told myself as well. But feeling like free in my body for the first time, like I started running and I was afraid because I used to like run and my stomach would like bounce and I'd be embarrassed and like everyone's looking at me. Oh my God. And I would stop and have anxiety if someone was like next to me on the treadmill. And I was like, oh my God, I'm running. And like I have no bounds. Holy shit. It's so freeing. Like feeling free in my body. I'm so grateful for that. And I'm so grateful I found it when I did and I didn't waste any more time in the
Yeah.
body that was not mine. This is who I am, you know?
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm grateful to have been part of your journey. These are my favorite things to do, in my process because I get to see the results and the change that people get to experience. And I want to applaud you though, because I say, yeah, I provide like a framework for people to follow, but you followed it. You did the work. You did the hard work of the inner work that, we just say, hey, maybe you should think about this. Maybe you should do this. But you have to go and reframe that. You have to go and dig deep and work on the inner belief systems that you did. And so I want to applaud you again publicly and say congratulations. So awesome to see the change. So awesome to see the inspiration you have been to so many people and continue to will be to so many people. So again, congratulations to you as well, Kacie.
Thank you so much,
So
Jared. This has been so fun chatting with you again a year
yes,
later.
absolutely. A year later. So for those people who've been watching us for a year, and you haven't done the program because you're worried that, maybe it's not going to work for you, or maybe, you might scared you might gain the weight back. Like, here you go. A great example of Kacie that you don't have to, right? I mean, you could have, Kacie, you could have, but as long as you keep moving forward, keep doing the things we talked about in this 30, 40-minute video here, that like, you don't have to gain the weight back. It doesn't have to be something that you're stuck forever. It doesn't have to be something that, regardless, even Kacie's probably one of the younger people in our program. Actually, most people we work with are like in their 50s, and they still can see similar types of results, which is super cool. And same averages and things like that. So it doesn't matter if you're old, doesn't matter if you're young, doesn't matter if you tried a million things, like, you can see the results. You just have to give your body the right tools, which is what we always talk about. So yeah, super cool. Well, again, thank you, Kacie, for being here. If you're watching, you have questions, or you want to, chat with us more about, what it might look like to do the program, or if we can help you with that, schedule a call, reach out to us, message me, whatever. We can get you scheduled for a call. We do free calls. Make sure you mention Kacie's name, that you saw us, watching Kacie. We want to make sure we give her credit for that. And again, Kacie, want to just say congratulations. And again, thanks for sharing your story.
Of course. Thank you so much. And if anyone wants to reach out to me directly, feel free. Kacie Corbell, KACIE, on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I'm happy to chat with you about it if you have any questions or need any support from me. So
yeah, perfect.
Great talking to y'all.
Awesome. Okay, awesome. Well, we'll see you guys later. Thanks again, Kacie.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, yeah. Talk to you later.
Ciao.